And Dr. David Starkey for his reaction to Greta Thunberg's comments. But first, let's hear exactly what she said.
More or less, it started in the UK, since that's where the Industrial Revolution started. We started to burn coal there. So, of course, the UK has an enormous historical responsibility when it comes to historic emissions and so on, since the climate crisis is an accumulative crisis. I find it very strange that they are the ones who we are supposed to look up to now, but they are objectively one of the biggest climate villains.
Dr. David Starkey is with me here in the studio. Thanks ever so much for coming in. Lovely to see you.
You too, Colin.
She's got a point, hasn't she? It started here. We started burning coal furiously before anybody else had even thought about it. We bear a particular responsibility.
We do. We bear a responsibility for the entire modern world. Fundamentally, and that's a quick summary of what you've just said now, modernity is invented in Britain. And you left out half of the story. We don't just invent all the important things we were talking about. We invent modern dress, what you and me are wearing. Look at what people wore before that. We invent all modern games. The modern world, we invent the weekend. Even the French call it le weekend. We invent modernity. Right. So what is Greta really objecting to? She's objecting to the modern world. Greta, well, she's sort of an environmentalist, but look again at the language you used. Dare I ask you to scrutinise it? You began Holy Writ, original sin. Dare I say it, when you tried rather ineffectively to flagellate me last week, you asked about should the world forgive me? This is religious language.
That might be for me, David. I'm a bit of a loopy Catholic.
I know. We can only share sympathy. But the problem is that we're having a new religious revival. Greta Thunberg is not really an environmentalist. She's just wearing environmentalist dress. Let me tell you what she is. She's really a religious nutter at Hyde Park Corner. The end of the world is nigh.
What if she's right, David?
The end of the world is nigh. Well, first of all, if it were, there'd be nothing we could do to stop it.
Millions of people dispute that, by the way.
No.
They may be wrong, but they dispute it.
Okay, well then, let's just get the religious point right first. This is a form of millenarianism. It's completely known about. It appears repeatedly throughout history. And what we've done, we've got rid of God without getting rid of religion. What you have with somebody like Thunberg is she really worships the earth. She's a worshipper of the nature goddess, right? But what we've done, we've brought the whole notion of flagellant Christianity. You as a Catholic will know all about this. We mustn't have too much pleasure. It's very bad for you. What do you do if you have too much pleasure? You flagellate yourself. You mustn't have too many possessions because they make you luxurious. Another great Catholic, Savonarola, at the end of the 15th century in Florence, which is again one of the precursors of all this, the world of the Medici, the wonderful multiplication of goods in Florence. What do? Oh, we have sinned, we have sinned. We burn, you have a bonfire of the vanities.
It was that G.K. Chesterton quote, wasn't it? Another good Catholic who said, when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in nothing, they believe in anything.
And what we've done, we are believing in nature worship. Again, look at relatively respectable figures, and I emphasise relatively respectable, like David Attenborough. David Attenborough is really a rather mad late medieval saint, or maybe a very early one. He's a St. Simon Stylites, an ancient seer, whereas Greta Thunberg is the classic medieval child saint.
Wasn't he the one who stood on top of the pillar?
He's the one who stood on top of a pillar. You could just imagine Attenborough there, can't you? So fundamentally, we should be